Her name was Donna. She came home from work after a long day, and she just had some great news. She was so excited to share it, and yet something was kind of off in her day. Her husband finally came home, and she was so excited to talk with him and to tell him everything that had happened today. But he looked sad. He wasn't sure how to tell her. The husband was a heavy drug user. He eventually started sharing needles with his friends, and that came to the point where he tested positive for HIV. And on that same day, the woman tested positive for something a little bit better, a pregnancy test. And so the conversation started. "I'm pregnant," she said. His face fell. He looked at her and began to explain the situation. This is a true story. In fact, it's my story. I was that baby. Story is important. And today we're going to talk about why.
Welcome to The Snipe Life, where we look at creativity through the lens of Christianity. I'm Vanessa.
And I'm Brandon.
And today we're talking about storytelling.
So for me, storytelling is the most important thing in life in general. And I'm talking far beyond videography, far beyond writing a book, far beyond even being a pastor or something like that. Storytelling is the most important thing that you can learn in your life, period. For any situation, for any career, because that's how we live our lives. You can't live a life without story.
I mean, even in the Bible, Jesus uses story to give examples of what it is to truly follow him. And to just give examples of stories that they didn't fully understand.
Yeah, even you, the one that is thinking right now, well, I'm not a good storyteller, or I've never told a story, or I don't tell stories. You are a storyteller. You have to be. Everything that we say is a story. Everything that we talk about is talking about our lives, which is a story. And so for us on our channel, we really try to focus on storytelling because it helps you in every single aspect. It helps you to engage. It helps you to relate to people. It helps you to explain. It helps you to educate. It helps you to, just connect with community. And so for us, that story that I told in the beginning, it's a true story. My mom came home one day and she found out that she was pregnant with me. My dad came home the same day after taking a test for HIV and found out that he was positive for HIV. And so that's an insane moment in my journey, even before I was on this earth, really, before I was, out of the womb. But my mom spent the next 9 months worrying, like, does she have HIV? Do I have HIV? Like, what is going on there, and the path that created, the faith that created in her is a big part of my journey. And so that piece of my story is incredibly important to me, but it's also compelling to other people. And they hear that story and they're like, that's insane. I can't imagine being in that situation. Story is so powerful because now a piece of me that helps you to relate to me, and helps you to understand where I'm coming from and what my life story looks like, at least a piece of it.
So for me in youth ministry, it's super important to be able to tell a story. It's easier to teach a lesson when you tell a story instead of telling them exactly what they're doing wrong, because you don't want to hear that.
Let's take an example of David, right? David has a best friend, Uriah, right? Like, it talks about Uriah being one of his mighty men throughout the Bible. He's a super, super good friend. He sees Uriah's wife, Bathsheba. He sleeps with her, and then he kills Uriah. Insane story, right? An insane story. And this is why we go back to it over and over again when we talk about the Bible, because David we see as this, God even says, you're a man after my own heart. So he's this lifted up, paragon of a king who is an amazing role model, but in this case, he does everything wrong, right? But he didn't fully understand what was happening until Nathan came, and Nathan told him a story, right? He told him a story about the king that had everything, and this other person who had one very good sheep, right? And the king wanted that one very good sheep, even though he had as many sheep as he already wanted. And so Nathan helped him to understand what the situation was actually like. But in order for him to get to that point of understanding, it took a story. It took someone explaining to him in a new way. If you can tell a good story, you can captivate anybody's attention. And it's going to help you to succeed in whatever you're doing, whether that's selling a house like a real estate agent, you know, telling the story about how beautiful the house was, how it was made, who made it, what were the reasons behind making it. Or if you were,
giving a quote for a website. Like, I feel like I have to do that almost daily. I'm selling the story of why they should hire me. What benefits do I give to them? How I'm the person that they need.
Yeah, and it's not creating something fake. What I mean by story is not a fictional story.
Right.
What I mean is that you're telling it in a way that explains clearly exactly who you are and what you're doing, and and why that is. In a way that's entertaining, maybe in a way that is compelling. Yeah, it gets their attention. If you can master storytelling, you can be successful in any industry that you're in, because people will connect to you. They'll understand exactly what you're talking about, and you'll be able to move forward and work with them in new ways. So
even knowing your why, like the whole reason why do you need to know your why? So you could tell a good story, so people can connect to it, so you can sell it, so you can have people want to be a part of it.
Yeah, because otherwise people won't want to be a part. I mean, even for us as a channel, right, as the Snipe Life, our story for the longest time was just, we're just going to try to do this, and we're trying to figure it out, right? But once we figured out we want to reach Christian creatives, we want to create community, we want to see other channels do well, we started connecting with people immediately. And even this week, we've gotten to talk with Engineered by God, we've gotten to talk with The Word in Red, we've gotten to talk with This Beautiful Crazy Life, who's an awesome channel. We've gotten to talk with Jordan and Sarah Taylor, we've gotten to talk with Sean Cannell this week. These are people who are well beyond our sphere of influence, right? All of these channels, in fact, are higher subscribers than we are. But we got to connect with them because we have a story of creating community in this Christian niche, right? And because of that, people want to connect with us. Because of that, people, are starting to see us as a hub of Christian community, which is what we want. We want this to be a hub of Christian community where people can come and learn and love on each other and be resources to each other. So yeah, it's all about story.
So story isn't just one-sided either. It involves the audience. You want to captivate the audience. So like for me with the quotes, I started out saying how incredible I am and everything that I could do for somebody. But then I had to change it to be, this is how I can benefit you. This is how
great you are.
Huh?
This is how great you are. Like to
this
them.
is how great you are. Your website's already doing amazing.
Yeah.
You should listen. Only these few things that I think would benefit your site or SEO or whatever it is.
Yeah. I think that's definitely true too. I think that, we can't get stuck in this trap either of just telling stories about ourselves. I think that's super important. I think that it's most beneficial if we tell stories about the other person. I mean, if you're reading a book, right, and you're the hero in the story, how much more compelling, how much more entranced in that story are you going to be? For our channel too, I think that we're trying to focus more on you guys now, and so we've seen a lot of growth because of that. We've seen a lot of community because of that, and so we're trying to focus on you guys and help you guys to grow and give you advice and be that conduit, be that community, be that home, that hub where people can come and just grow and be that Christian community. So this week I want to challenge you in whatever you're doing, whether you're an artist, whether you're a dancer, whether you're a singer, whether you're a videographer, whether you're a YouTuber, web developer, whatever you are, try using story this week. So if you're giving a quote to someone, like Vanessa was saying, use story about yourself. Tell them about how you've learned over this many years and you've been excited to grow your business and this is why. If you're a YouTuber, try using story more. Try talking about something in your life that's compelling, a story that you can tell really well because you've told it a million times to your family and your friends. Use those advantages, because the more that you share about yourself, the more that you are open and transparent and show the real you, the more people will connect with you because they see who you are rather than who you're trying to be. Well, we hope this helped you out. It's been an important thing for us to think about story in our videos. And so I hope that you kind of take this along and use it in whatever you're creating.
Thanks for being part of the community. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.